The classic game, Tecmo Bowl, is known by many. Well, particularly Americans. Now, this Arcade Archives version is a game based on the 1987 arcade release of the game. So yeah, not what you're seeing right here. Let's switch it over. Yes, that's more like it. Now, unlike its console brother, which was released on the NES in 1989, 1990 on the Famicom in Japan, this version does not feature any licensed players, teams, or any of that, but rather has gamers take control of either the Wildcats or the Bulldogs. Now, the real question you're asking yourself right now is, does it hold up today? Well, Danny from the Famicast here, and this is our review for Arcade Archives Tecmo Bowl on the Nintendo Switch. Now, the playbook is non-existent here in Tecmo Bowl, and things are seemingly chosen by the computer at random. Although the formations are chosen by the computer, you do have an option to cycle through players before the snap. On offense, the highlighted player will be your target receiver or runner. Now, after hiking the ball with B, you get to see the play pan out. If it looks like your player will be open or there's going to be a big hole for your runner, you can dump the ball off. Now, even if your running back is targeted for what would appear to be a running play, the ball doesn't necessarily have to go to the runner immediately after the ball is in play. You can hand it off quickly, or you can just wait for the runner to basically be running a route. It's similar with traditional receivers and tight ends here as well. I mean, you can throw it any time. You do have to be careful when snapping the ball, though. It is possible to move too quickly and fumble before you can even get a play going. Now, once the ball is in the air via a pass, you're given control over your target player. Now, this can be important, especially with ball hawk defenders who will pick the ball off if you're not careful. To help prevent this, players can also use the A button to jump to try to get the ball before their opponents. When getting tackled on offense, Tecmo Bowl gives you the options to try to escape at the grasp of the defenders by wiggling the D-pad or stick. And this works pretty well when you're being kind of mauled by defenders. And you can actually shake off a couple of them, but I mean, if you have the whole defense breathing down your neck, you're probably going to go down. The gameplay here overall feels really great and pretty responsive. The biggest downfall for me has to be with the extremely slow movement of your players, particularly the ones that you're controlling on either side of the ball. Now, being an arcade game that is meant to eat your quarters, I mean, I get it, but a slight ramp up in the speed would have been welcome. Defense is a little bit trickier. So like on offense, you can cycle through all of your players, but only before the ball is snapped. This can be challenging, especially if you opt to control the defender that's close to the line of scrimmage to go after the quarterback. Now, more times than not, the QB would launch the ball down the field when I would do this to an often uncovered receiver that the computer has no interest in covering, and then the opponent would able to get a first down or more. Now, to counter this, I would typically control the safeties or the cornerbacks to give myself a chance. Now, the kicking game here is pretty simple. For kicks, a power meter activates, and it's all about timing. Hit at the right time, and you'll send the ball flying. This goes both for kickoffs and field goals. Now, when receiving the ball on a kickoff, you will be running behind, unless there's a really poorly kicked ball, behind numerous blockers. They pretty much run in the same direction as you will, which will allow them to block incoming defenders. Similar to the previously released Arcade Archives Neo Geo Football Frenzy. Let's try saying that 10 times fast. This arcade version of Tecmo Bowl features big, beautiful, chunky sprites. They're extremely colorful and pack a great deal of animation here as well. Small things like the quarterback scanning the field before taking the snap, receivers and runners stretching out their arms to get closer to the first down, and even these sideline cheerleaders and cameramen, all this stuff really helped to bring a level of realism to the game that just couldn't be done on the home consoles at the time. You also have this weird guy that looks like he might be wearing nothing but underpants. Anyways, you probably also noticed the widescreen look that this game sports. Well, the original arcade cabinet actually used two monitors side by side to create this modern look in this era when widescreen displays weren't really a thing. So this is perfect for modern displays and basically what modern tech is and where that's at now. Of course, being part of the Arcade Archive series, you get a vast array of options that come along with it. Of course, you have the base game, the original game. You got tons of filters, the interrupt save data, and online leaderboards via the high score and Caravan Mode. Now, in Tecmo Bowl, high score mode gives players 7 in-game minutes to try to score as many points as they can. When the time runs out, the game is over, and you can submit your score to the rankings. Now, Caravan Mode is similar, but here you have a real-time 5-minute limit. The goal is to try to score as many touchdowns as you can and get as many yards as you can before the time is up. Again, once the time runs out, you can submit your scores online. Now, both of these modes were definitely the best way to play the game. I mean, given how shallow this game can be on its own, I mean, you're basically replaying the same game with no variety on your opponent. I think these two things are a really good way to get more mileage out of Tecmo Bowl. Even after a little bit of time with both modes, I did find myself atop the upper echelon of Tecmo Bowl players in the rankings. I mean, that's right, legit rolled ranking for your boy. Okay, so there aren't very many players who have scores recorded up to this point, and honestly, some of these scores are just insane. But there's definitely some fun to be had trying to go for high scores. Arcade Archives Tecmo Bowl is another great port of an arcade classic that some people, like me, never played back in the day. It looks fantastic, it plays pretty well, and is a good option for those missing out on the sport on Nintendo's hybrid system. Now, on the multiplayer side of things, something I really didn't get a chance to try out, up to 4 people can take the field locally. And honestly, this seems like something that would be pretty entertaining, especially given the fact, like I said before, that playing by yourself against the computer, it can get a little boring after a while. As fun as the mechanics and stuff are, I think if you're actually playing with other people, it would actually make this a heck of a lot more fun. Again though, the online rankings here can help make it entertaining if you're playing by yourself, but if you're just playing single player, you might find yourself putting the game back in your digital shelf sooner rather than you would like. I would honestly suggest trying to play with some friends if you can, and maybe get some more mileage out of it. Final score for Arcade Archives Tecmo Bowl on the Nintendo Switch, 7 out of 10. As always, thank you for checking out this video. If you like what you see, please feel free to give us a like. If you're new to the channel, please feel free to subscribe. We have tons of podcasts, video reviews, special videos, and a whole lot more. Again, this is Danny from the Famicast. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later.